Well, hello, Lyric Armstrong, your real estate agent and advocate. We are here going back to one of our cases that we have looked at in probate court in Louis County. It's regarding Madam, the estate of Madam Deanne Warner. There has been some updates to criminal charges against her husband. If you remember that video, you remember that there was some reports from the detective that in fact Mr. Dale Warner was not just a person of interest, but that he, in fact, was suspect in the murder of Madam Warner. So let's find out what's going on in Detroit, Michigan, or in Little County, I should say. Court. Now, this right here is going to be the 5 o'clock news on Click on Detroit. So make sure that you've done your housekeeping, like, sharing, and subscribing this video, as I've already liked this particular video. Want to keep the people in the know. Let's find out what the news is reporting. Obviously, it's breaking news. This is not the best time to find out. In certain circumstances, this Thanksgiving, so the holiday is here, you're thinking about family, you want to sit down with family. And so, of course, if a family member has killed another family member, your holidays are changed forever. All right, let's hear what's going on in Detroit.
New at 5 here, Dale Warner, the husband of Dee Warner, has been formally charged with her murder.
He's now being held on $20 million bond after being arraigned this morning in Lenawee County. Let's get to Megan Wood. She's live tonight. Megan, this investigation has gone on for years now.
For years, Kimberly, and today in court in front of Dee's family, her son, friends, many of the people who went out searching for her when she first went missing, Dale Warner pled not guilty to her murder, but he will remain behind bars, like you mentioned, with that $20 million bond, with a bond hearing on Monday.
She was a fighter, so she'd be very proud of this.
Greg Hardy, Deanne Warner's brother, says it's been a difficult road to get to this point. He believes she was a victim of domestic violence.
I've known Mr. Warner's family all my life, and this is not a pleasant situation for me or for anybody in our family because we've known these people all of our lives.
And with Dale being charged a day before the holidays, it makes it even more painful for close friends.
I don't think he deserves to have Thanksgiving with his family after he can't have Thanksgiving with hers.
Michigan State Police took over Dee's case last spring and say these charges are a result of several pieces coming together.
Speaking to witnesses, about 70 search warrants were put out there to gather enough evidence, and with that, working with the Lenawee County Prosecutor's Office.
But they still have work to do.
We still want to find the remains of Dee Warner.
There is one person that could end all of this, and that's Mr. Warner. He could come forward, and he could try to make things right.
State Police today told us that Dale has not been cooperative with this investigation since his wife's disappearance. And when we talked to Greg, he had mentioned that, he claims that Mr. Warner has kept his youngest daughter with Dee away from Dee's family. And so Greg is saying that just adds to the agony that their family is going through right now. Back to you.
Sure, you can understand that. Okay, Megan, thank you.
This mistake.
Okay, so quite actually, we've learned a lot of this already because we learned that this was in the brewing as far as Dale Warner getting arrested because of our clip. I'm going to go ahead and get into that just so you can see it. If you haven't seen the coverage of the estate trial in probate, go ahead and check that out. It's about 9 different videos, and there's a lot of details on how probate is, how it's handled, what gets into evidence, what doesn't get to the evidence, and there's a lot of salaciousness relative to this particular video, relative to this particular case, because typically when you're talking, but the idea is when you're talking probate, and you're going to probate court, you're just confirming whether there is a will or isn't a will, and there is not a trust involved, and there is a will, you still go to probate. And the heirs petitioned the probate court to take on this case because at the time, Ms. Warner was considered missing, legally so. They were in the search for her. Justice for Dee is the hashtag and the signs to find her and look for her. And after some time, the family decided, you know, this is abnormal behavior. She would not have gone away from us this long. Consequently, is our belief she is no longer missing. She is in fact dead. They petitioned the court to open up the case, to open up a probate, stating that, you know, put a freeze on her assets. During that time, Dale Warner went to jail twice, I believe, at least twice. I say we did it before. So he's had some, you know, some jail time, but this has nothing to do with his criminal time, right? So this particular jail time would only in concerns for the court, which put him in jail, which was probate court, and he was found in contempt of court. We covered all of that in various videos, so you can check it out. This particular video that we're getting ready to gander at is the one that is on the channel, and it's under the playlist for Dee Warner, and it's called The Killer Relationship in Judge Sally's Probate Court. Okay, so let's go see. We're only gonna have I think about 2 minutes. So it's gonna be real quick. I'm not gonna do the whole video at all. Okay.
I'm here to present to the court what I believe is in the best interest of Deanne Warner. And I know that you have said that your belief is that she's deceased, correct?
Well, I don't want to muddy the water, sir, but my investigation has led us to believe that she is deceased.
And I'm sure your investigation would also involve a possibility of her being abducted, correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain what you did to rule out abduction?
Everything.
What does that consist of?
I can't go into too great a detail, sir, but essentially there are only so many ways a person could be physically abducted. So I use the word physical intentionally.
Okay.
Having come to know of Dee Warner as a person, there would have been a physical abduction. You're not, you know, escorting her to a van. So without signs that would indicate that type of anomaly, or signs after the fact, such as a ransom or demands, or the discovery of her body somewhere because there was no ransom or demands, or a person being guilty of a similar party act in the area admitting to such a crime. Those are the ways you would typically find an abductor, so to speak.
I would assume that on investigations, neighbors are asked and cameras are surveyed in the area to see if there was any suspicious activity, such as a vehicle to transport somebody in an abduction. Would that be an accurate general statement?
Yes, in addition to that, there are numerous means of detecting electronic devices in certain areas to determine, for instance, if you and I are out to lunch and we say someone perpetrated a crime against us, there should only be 3 devices there. If that makes sense.
Sure. Okay. So basically, your professional opinion is that you can rule out abduction. Would that be accurate?
Absolutely.
Thank you. That helps me.
I just love that line of questioning. So poignant, sensible,
And
linear.
if you can't answer this, let me know, because I'm not sure what your constraints are, but are there suspects as far as her missing?
Are you asking if there's a suspect for her murder?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you reveal that?
Dale Warner.
Thank you.
Yeah. There you have it. We knew this 3 months ago. We knew this 3 months ago. Anyone was watching this here, you knew it 3 months ago. Now, how long the police department has known, the homicide department has known, I don't know. How long the Detroit, Michigan supporters of Justice for Dee has known, I don't know. But we have known it for at least 3 months now. And that goes to show you that when you think, oh, you got away with it, or you think the crime is done with, or the investigation is over, things take time. They're not instantaneous. They don't unfold instantaneously. They take time. In this instance, the time for which they went through the probate matter, they had, they had their opinion in probate that she was murdered, not abducted, not not missing by choice, not out voluntarily roaming the world and enjoying her millions of dollars. No, that she was murdered. They had that opinion at the time, and they testified to that fact, which means under penalty of perjury. Additionally, they had a suspect in mind, and that was her husband. They had identified the suspect, who was the suspect for her murder 3 months ago. And they are just now making the arrest 3 months later, right? So don't go out there committing any crimes. Do not do it. But also, for all the rappers and all the people that just tell on themselves, like the YouTube, like the influencers, like it's crazy to me how you get arrested, you're told of your charges, and then you get into a song or you get onto a social media site, and now all of a sudden you're giving them more evidence. There was somebody who talked about they didn't have any money. Then they got on the social media talking about how you making millions and counting as pennies, which just gave like the whole shebang away. Like, oh, you're so lying now. Of course you have money. So the FBI that you, or the IRS didn't have, whoever it was you're lying to. So I don't understand. When it's open investigation, there's no talking. The mouth is closed. Your attorney talks for you. And quite frankly, don't commit any crimes, you don't have to have this problem. But there's people out there that's doing it. Well, it looks like we're getting somewhere for justice for Dee. This is not my wheelhouse. Criminal law is not my wheelhouse. But I am glad to see that the diligence, the concern, and the care the community has had, inclusive of the family, relative to going through the process. It has come to some type of point where now there will be a trial, most hopefully. Now, of course, Dale can, take a plea deal and admit to it and, make it a shorter process, and you don't have to go through a full trial with witnesses and so forth. Is plausible. The probate matter, if memory serves me correctly, is still in flux. We will look to see more details of that. That's actually what I was looking for when I came across the fact that he was arrested. And this hopefully will bring some kind of resolution. The reality is we haven't gotten to resolution. Things are still in the air. He still has to go through trial. He's considered innocent until proven guilty. It must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, meaning that there is no wiggle room. There is no, well, it's more likely that he did do it than he didn't do it. It's like, yep, he did it. We believe you. Evidence shows that is a very high threshold, very high threshold. So many times, a lot of the delay in criminal proceedings comes from the fact that the prosecutors don't feel that they have enough evidence to prove this, whatever the crime. And so that's probably a lot of the delay. But it's been over a year since she's been missing. And I think it's been about 4 months or so. Don't hold me to the fire on that, but it's been a few months that she's been deemed dead for the consideration of the probate court. And now the prosecutor is going to have to prove, in court that she's dead, not missing, and she's dead by the hands of her husband. And so, it's a lot of elements to prove. They do not have a body yet. Doesn't mean that it's not provable, but it does give some challenges are to a case already set with challenges in the sense that there were some behaviors of these that would put her removed from the family for a couple days at a time, but not necessarily without communication. You would communicate. I'm going away to the spa, retort, I'm not going away to the resort, to the hotel, to whatever, to brother's house, wherever she was going. Her kids always knew where she was. So consequently, this particular day that she went missing, she was supposed to meet her child to go shopping, I think to Costco, and ended up not being home, not being at the office, not returning phone calls, and it was not like her nature. And they haven't heard from her since, and that was April of 2022. But we're now in November 2023, and we're seeing the arrest. I believe it was the day before Thanksgiving. So hopefully that's a good Thanksgiving meal that her family can have. But as I said before, the youngest child was the child she had in common with Dale Warner. Consequently, he was her guardian. And he was choosing her exposure to the other. Decided not to be so exposed. And one can understand that. Hopefully he didn't do it. You know, I don't know. What was heard in the probate case is like, oh. Maybe the prosecutor's job is not that hard. We will find out when criminal court proceeds. Nevertheless, as always, the children suffer. And the youngest child was around 11 when Dee went missing. And as I pointed out in the other video, it's a very hard time for children. Very hard time for children ages 11, especially young girls. You're going through your hormonal changes that have evidence. You know, you're going through a menstrual cycle, maybe not necessarily 11, but that's coming down the pike, and you don't have your mom to talk to. And you used to talk to her. You used to have a mom. She used to be around, and now she's not. And it's the dad's position that she's not there. She chooses not to. It's a hard thing for a young lady to go through. And I can't imagine someone doing that because they're in an abusive relationship. Usually they will set up a space and get things in order and then, you know, speak with the child, not leave the child to go through abuse or to be a subject of abuse, to be in the environment of whom was once an abuser to the spouse. That does not equate with my brother. But life is life and people are people. Things can be different. They differently do things differently. And so we shall see what comes of it. Once again, all the prayers in the world, this particular family. If he didn't do it, it's going to be hard for him to ever reintegrate into that particular family because whether the law proves it or not, much of them have had their minds made up. And so without a different suspect, I think it will be hard for them. And if he did do it, you know, what a horrible thing to do. Right? Take your wife because she doesn't want to be married anymore, or whatever your reasons are, overreact to the news, whatever it is. Consequently, you take the woman away from his father and the mother to the rest of the children and the grandmother to the grandchildren who was babysitting the grandchildren. She had responsibility. So her just getting up and leaving requires communication to some extent. Like, hey, baby girl, I'm not going to be able to watch the kids the next week. I'm not going to be able to watch the kids again. Gonna need you to find a different babysitter, whatever the situation. So we continue our prayers and our well wishes to the Warner family as a whole. There is a potential brokenness that may never heal, but hopefully something good can come out of this. You know what good would be? Maybe the young sibling being able to be reunited with her older siblings. Don't know. Hopefully something good comes out of it, and we definitely wish her well. All right, so I'm Laura Brown, show you real estate agent and advocate. This was not about real estate. This was to give you an update to one of the cases that we were looking at, probate. So I didn't want to be silent on something that's so so important. FYI, probate still goes on. This does not hinder probate. The only time that his particular two cases may have some issue with one another is if they set trial or certain pretrial hearing dates and testimonial dates at the same day and time, because he has a right to be present. Not everything in probate will require him to be present. Not every hearing, not every like if you're scheduling conferences and he may not necessarily be present for it. However, he has the right to be present and to be part of all aspects of his life. Consequently, if there is a conflict between the schedules, it would be upon the attorneys to have best communication with the judges and try to get something rescheduled from one judge or versus. There are times the judges will work together when they know that a case is going on. If you give them judicial notice, if there is double cases going on. As there's a lot of work to be done, So hopefully we are in a good space, that we are still having great holiday cheer. We're having fun with our families. You know, we are still enjoying selves and love and appreciating one another. If you are in a circumstance of abuse or violence or an unwanted relationship, know that you can do it. You're strong enough, you are smart enough, you are pretty enough, you are handsome enough, you are enough. And you can do it on your own. Please seek out services necessary to help you with the process. Not think you have to settle for do not have to. Are enough. The moment you decide to respect yourself enough, love yourself enough, care for yourself enough, you're all you need, truthfully and honestly. And when it comes to other resources to help guide you along the way, there are a plethora of them all across this nation. So please avail yourself of the perfect one for you. But remember, if you're being told that you're less than who you are, you don't have to take it. You can make other choices if you want to. I don't want to force anyone to do anything they don't want to do. If that's what you want to do, you can do it, because all you need is you. You are enough. God made you that way. You have made yourself that way. And the more you believe it, the stronger you will be to make necessary steps to regain freedom and all the wonderful things you deserve, such as respect and love and camaraderie, right? So Lyric Armstrong, real estate agent advocate. I'm going to go ahead and see you on the next video. Like, share, and subscribe. This is a free process. When you like, you share, you subscribe, it's free to you, okay? And we are in a space where we are hearing, like this 50 years hip hop, right? A celebration in 2023. Hip hop is it has evolved, but its original set of years, of decades of time, have been such the pinnacle of so many people's lives, mine included. I miss old hip hop. I miss stories. I miss, just different artists, right? That just would take the news articles and turn it into a pop song. And I miss, R&B. We got a lot of R&B coming back, it's coming back around. But there are so many stories about what has happened in the industry. And I think hip hop industry, music industry is not going to be absolved and scrubbed and clean and squeaky clean when you have the movie industry, the TV industry, the model industry. All industries have skeletons in their closet. And to hear the revelations that are going on, whether it's Me Too or it's just I want to tell the truth, or it's, court cases getting settled in one day, like the unheard settlements of all time. So much is coming out and being presented to the world. And it's the old parable. What happens in the dark comes to light. It's actually a biblical parable, but some of you just hear it as what your great grandmother used to say, Big Mama used to say, Medea used to say, right? Your mama used to say, whoever, your auntie. It's done in the dark will come out in the meaning that live your lives in the dark the way you would want it to be seen, stage front center, right? Enjoy life, but be good to yourself and be good to others. And we will all be okay. If we can each individually do that, we'll get there. We'll get to being okay. So men, non-binary individuals, you don't have to live through hell. I'm gonna say it. I have a better word. Don't have to. You can find different ways of making a living. The olden days, the restrictive days of earning a living have changed. There are other things that are open. So this may be more video that you share, not because it has a lot of court context or that there's any information really relative to real estate, but maybe you just go out and share this video because you never know on the other end what someone's living and they need to know. Make the change so that you're not in Dee Warner's position. Whatever that is found. Don't want to have any more headlines of wife threatens to leave husband and now is missing, found dead or is dead, claimed to be dead, presumed to be dead, at the hands of abuser, and vice versa. I after Johnny Depp's trial, I am sure. I mean, I knew that it happened. The flip side, whereas men were victims and women were perpetrators. Same. I knew that was a possibility. I knew that happened. Seeing some of it, a lot of verbal stuff, right? But it's also put the element of the manipulation and the conniving and the I'm gonna play my woman card. I must be the victim kind of card, and just the acting of it all. That trial was very illuminating to the fact that people are people, no matter celebrity status, money, political affiliations, job status, titles, it doesn't matter. People are people. So let's try not to say, oh, that's impossible. So-and-so would never do that. So-and-so would never do that. We don't know. We don't live their lives. So get yourself safe. Send the video out because you just don't know who's in your sphere who just might be living in a private hell that you just don't know about. And hopefully this will give you the strength to do what's best for them in the long run and not stick and stay into a situation that is harmful or not to their best interest. Okay, I'm out. I'm out this time. I mean it. So like, share, and subscribe. Larry Grimshaw, real estate agent and advocate, and all the best to the Warner family. Hopefully this is just a little bit of peace that they needed to get through this particular holiday season. Okay, talk to you later on the next video.